Hello, my name's Kate Putnam, and I want to talk to you for a few minutes about sustainable wrapping, specifically why overwrapping and what makes overwrapping a more sustainable method than alternatives such as flow wrap or shrink wrap, why you should consider Package Machinery Company, and then what it is that you can do to improve the consumer experience with packaging. Let's start with showing you the package that started our thinking. We took a look at this and said we can reduce the amount of film being used. As you can see, we demonstrate that, but we can also create some space in the corrugate box, the shipping box, because with less film, there is more space in the box, and you could actually cut the size of the case packer by an inch on one dimension. So we realized that the conversation had to move from the capital cost of the wrapping machine to the total cost of producing a shipped package. Can what you do with your wrapper not only save you wrapping material, but can it reduce your corrugate needs, your shipping costs, and even best of all, enable you to increase your pricing because your product is more attractive? So let's look at some more pictures and see what we can show you. Last spring we went shopping at Walmart. We bought two of a number of products. Then we carefully unwrapped one of each and rewrapped them with overwrap. We then measured the difference between the two wrap styles. Here is a substantive example of overuse of film. We demonstrate here that this could be done as an overwrap using printed film instead of the clear film that we had, and then with a hang tab be put on the hook at the store, achieving the same functionality but a 50% reduction in material consumption, and undoubtedly a reduction in corrugate use and shipping costs. Here's another example. In this case, we're looking at shrink wrap, where we don't have as clear a measurement because with shrink, you can't unwrap it and measure what the original size of the polyethylene film was before it was shrunk. But we do know that in every shrink process, there is film cut off and either discarded or recycled, and that's usually estimated there at 20%. So you can reduce it some, but there is that. There's also an energy use because the shrink tunnel itself is an energy consumer. And you can decide what you think of the relative wrap. We can tell you that an employee of the brand owner suggested to us that the package slightly up and to the right had not passed internal QC. And we had to explain that we had bought that particular one at Walmart. So it was going out. Another example of a snack pack, and as you can see, as things settle in the box, there's also room to reduce the tray size here. One thing we want to note is that because overwrap is a tighter wrap around the package, things are less able to shift and be damaged. So brittle things like cookies, which can move and bang around, are less likely to be damaged with an overwrap because it is so much tighter a wrap that there is less room for movement. Here's another example of trays. Again, we used clear film, but you can see a substantially smaller package, so opportunities for reduction not only in film of 21%, but also in your shipping containers and your shipping costs. Here's an example of one where we just think you should see that the shrink wrap has damaged the view of the package, not simply obscuring it, but making it less attractive. The one that is closer is overwrapped, and it's clear that everything on the printed tray is visible to the consumer. So you've got not only excess film, but a less attractive package. Well, let's talk for a minute now about why Package Machinery Company, and I think there are three things we want to talk about here. One is, what is it about our machines that make them the best choice in overwrapping? What is it in general about energy consumption that you need to think about? And lastly, we're going to cycle back and talk a little bit more about film. One of the things that you need to be thinking about, and again I bring this up, is the total cost of ownership, because it's the cost of your wrapped package, not the capital cost of a specific piece of equipment. If that equipment saves you material costs in the long run, then you need, and further down your line in secondary packaging has savings, then you need to be able to factor that into your decision making when you're deciding what kind of equipment you want to own. Package Machinery has been making machines in one form or another since the first part of the 20th century. They started making overwrappers in the mid-1930s, and there is still one in operation from 1937 up in New Hampshire. And so we build extraordinarily durable machinery. In 2001, we moved to servo technology, and servo technology had a number of features to it. First and foremost, it reduced by 65% the number of moving parts on the machine. That's 65% fewer parts that need service, will break, can take your machine down. You get the picture. Servo technology also provided us with an opportunity to offer enhanced flexibility and quicker changeover if you're changing package sizes for our customers. Our machines can store the recipes, the dimensions and the requirements of a specific package in its brain, and we can store up to 25% of those. We have one customer who runs their 2 FASTs on 5 different products and has 10-minute changeover. Servo controls make that possible. So those are the things that I think you really need to walk away with when you're thinking about why package machinery versus another kind of overwrapper. Our energy consumption. We run on 30 amp service. A shrink tunnel runs on 60 amp service. That's specifically aimed at the difference between overwrapping and shrink wrapping. If you think about it, if you've been where there's a shrink tunnel, you know that you can heat substantial portions of a building off of the excess heat that's escaping from a shrink wrapper. Our machines use essentially spot welding. Where the seams are on the package is where the heat is applied. We're not heating the entire package, and so there are some significant energy savings. But I'm going to say that you have to do the math because it's going to be specific to your location and your energy costs. On film, the other thing that we want you to think about is what overwrappers will run not only the film you're running today, but the film you want to run tomorrow. And I say film, but it could be paper or something else. We're not aware of another overwrapper on the market today that will run with the range of gauges of film that our machines can run. We continue to test new films as they become available to us. So we have tested PLA films, we have tested home compostable cellulose films, and we will work with anybody to try their material on our machine. And that's an important thing to know. We actually have one customer who wraps with film and then takes the film off the machine, puts the roll of paper on the machine, and rewraps with seasonal paper, all on the same machine. So there's an awful lot of flexibility around the materials that you're going to use to do your wrapping, and thinking down the road when you may want to be changing materials, flexibility to know that the machine will still be with you when you make those changes. Well, let's take a real-life example, though, of savings that one of our customers was able to achieve. This is the original package. It involved putting sleeves manually in a chipboard box, then shrink wrapping the tray before manually applying the box top. This was labor-intensive and costly. They switched to this package, and you can see that it's the same sleeves morphed into being wrapped, bundle wrapped, with a lovely, it was an expensive film, I have to admit, 6-layer film, I believe. But everything is visible in terms of the barcode. The entire back of the package was available for printing. They were able to take 4 people off of their line. The change process had immediate results. No chipboard box savings there, no shrink tunnel, the labor force reduction, and they were able to do a direct feed from the sleever to the wrapper. So the bundler saved the money all around over. Now we also know that they were able to use a smaller shipping container, and they had lower shipping costs, but they actually didn't bother to calculate either that in terms of the shipping costs, although they did look at their cargo costs, but they also didn't bother to calculate their energy savings because their payback was less than 6 months. This is the thought that I'd like to leave you with. If you've gotten this far, you probably are interested in wrapping, but this applies to any form of packaging. This is a sample, and it's smaller than a barcode, of what you can do to convey to your consumer what they should be doing with their packaging. And obviously you have the ability to change it as your packaging changes, so that you can be engaged with your consumer and helping them know what to do with the packaging after they've enjoyed the wonderful product that you've provided to them. Thank you very much. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, I hope you will contact me, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a good day.